What's good, guys? Tito back with another video, and today got a special episode. We've got Mr. Charles here. Uh, what do you do for BTCS?
CEO.
Yeah, so it's a blockchain company, and we're gonna hear him talk about it.
All right, great, Tito. Thanks so much for having me on your channel. Really appreciate it. BTCS, we're the first public company focused on Bitcoin and blockchain technologies, and we're the first public company to be staking disruptive blockchains such as Ethereum. So that's kind of the quick and dirty of the company, and I'll
All right.
kind of turn it back over to you.
Yeah. So, what exactly is staking for people that don't know?
So staking is basically effectively running the nodes on a blockchain to validate transactions. So one way of thinking about it is you take your cryptocurrency, you stake it, or you lock it up in a smart contract, and then it earns money for you. What we're actually doing is running the nodes that validate transactions on a blockchain. So I think just understanding how blockchains work is probably worth a couple minutes.
Yeah.
With Bitcoin, it's something called a proof of work consensus mechanism. So the way Bitcoin's blockchain works is it's a decentralized and distributed general ledger. It's kind of think of that as like a spreadsheet or a database. It's maintained on a bunch of computers spread all over the world. And in order to make sure that consensus of who owns what is the same, miners basically do work, solve a cryptographic algorithm, and if they solve a block, they can write a block to the blockchain. A block is think of it as like a mailbag filled with transactions, and so those transactions are validated. They're written to the blockchain, and they become a permanent record of who owns what. So those kind of miners, right, which use work, they use these expensive computers that use a lot of electricity that are run in data centers. That's the mechanism to make sure that the network is secure, right? And the network is effectively what like a bank does. It keeps a ledger of who owns what.
Keeps it tight.
Staking is it's another consensus mechanism. It's called, the proof of stake consensus mechanism works by, instead of putting a lot of work into it, physical computing power, electricity, you basically lock up your crypto. And if you do that, you're given the privilege of running nodes and generating transaction fees for doing it. And that's what we do, right? Now, if you try to cheat the system, if you had, one crypto, whatever that may be, Ethereum, Cardano, they all have slightly different rules.
Yeah.
But the concept is generally, if you try to cheat the system, you can be penalized for that, right? You're at risk. The crypto that you staked in order to have the privilege of running these nodes and earning money is at risk of loss. So if you try to, spend the equivalent would be like if you could spend $1 a million times, you'd effectively have $1 million, right? Yeah. You just keep spending the same one over and over, double spend, right?
Yeah.
And so by having a proof of stake consensus mechanism, you lock your crypto into a smart contract, whereby if you try to cheat and spend your crypto multiple times, you could get slashed and lose your the underlying assets, which keeps you honest. That's the whole point. The whole point is to create a system where you have zero incentive to cheat, and that's how the security is maintained effectively in a proof of stake network compared to a proof of work where it's computers and electricity.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. So how does BTCS do this like better than everybody else per se?
So right now we're the only, apart from Coinbase, we're the only U.S. public company doing this, or a couple Canada focused on this as well. But so we're actively running nodes. We're doing it on in the cloud on Amazon Web Services. So it's a robust network. We're actually running the validators, and our goal is to do this across various disruptive blockchains and create a platform where others could effectively delegate in a non-custodial fashion to our pools. So, we're currently generating revenue, staking Ethereum. We also started staking Cardano. We're going to launch a couple more, and we're building a platform to make it easy for others to do that as well. Yeah. I think one of the interesting things we're doing is we're focused on delegated, or at least now we're focused on delegated proof of stake. So we really don't want to take users' funds. You know, if you stake through Coinbase or Kraken, they're a custodian of your funds, which is fine. But, you know, overall, our kind of view is, you know, people should control their own money, and, you know, have their own wallets, have their own, custody of their cryptocurrency, as opposed to just leaving it on an exchange. You know, you never know what'll be the next Mount Gox, right? You know, we've been in this space for a while. We think that there's a lot of people that have that same belief, and if we can provide a really nice platform for them to stake, we think that'd be pretty compelling.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. So, so if somebody wants to stake like today, what would they do? What's really like the process on your website?
Right now, we're not offering it. So our kind of pathway is, you know, step one, stake for our own account, build out the infrastructure for using our own money.
Yeah.
You know, and really we're launching pools. So now we have a Cardano pool that's open and running. You know, we have to make sure that the uptime is there. That's kind of step one, is getting all these done. The next step would be to put an overlay of a platform on top of it, and that's something we're actively building. So right now, if someone wanted to, you know, stake, Ethereum's kind of hard because the minimum you can do is 32 Ethereum, which is, you know, north of 50 grand. Right? So it's not as accessible for others like Cardano, or, you know, it's easier. You can just, you know, pick a pool and delegate to that, but we would actually be, you know, running a pool. So with a Cardano, for example, you go get a wallet. I won't go through all the details, but you get it off an exchange if that's where your crypto is, put it in a wallet, and then you would delegate and point from that wallet to a pool. And there's a ton of pools you could select from, and the goal would be for BTCS to be running a pool, create a user account website with us. We don't have this yet. This is where we're kind of going.
Yeah, the idea.
And you take your money, you put it in your own wallet. We'll give you the directions of how to do it. You point it to our pool, and then we'll give you a bunch of data analytics around that. How much money are you making? Allow you to kind of look at all your different pools, and then, you know, aggregate all that data into one place and make your life, you know, easy with respect to managing your funds. So that's something we're working on, right? It's not live yet, but we are actively generating revenue, staking our own money, right? Our own crypto is probably better word.
I see. So is BTCS on like any stock exchanges, or how are you getting it started where people can get in on like the first floor?
So I mean, right now we've been publicly traded since 2014. So you can go buy our stock, though some brokers won't, you know, don't allow for it. For instance, like Robinhood, Webull, you know, really the app-based platforms and some other brokerage firms don't allow, kind of, you know, their user bases to access our stock. Right now we're traded on, you know, the bulletin board, OTC QB. So it's not like we're on the pink sheets, which is, there's actually, for those who don't know, there's a level below where we are, and then there's a level above. The level we're at is like fully reporting. We do all the SEC filings just like a NASDAQ company would. Our end goal is to get to the NASDAQ. That's been a big, you know, effort of the company. We just expanded our board to improve corporate governance and, you know, to make sure we meet their, you know, the NASDAQ's requirements. So we added Charlie Lee to the board as an independent director. He's the, you know, creator of Litecoin, former Coinbase engineer. And so he joined the board, and we had a woman by the name of Carol Van Cleef, you know, join the board. She's pretty prominent in the legal space within the blockchain sector. So
that's it. Okay. So, I mean, it sounds good. Like, is there anything in particular you want to just point out about BTCS for anybody who's watching?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're a pretty compelling story, especially compared to the other bulletin board companies focused on, you know, crypto. We had, you know, as of May, we had, I think that was kind of the peak of crypto. We had about 41 million in cash in crypto in terms of assets, which is pretty big, you know, considering our market cap. I mean, now it's, you know, then it was a bit bigger. It was, you know, maybe 60 million now. I think we're in the, you know, 30, 40 million range market cap wise, but we still have, you know, just based on publicly available information, you know, if you just looked at the crypto we have, and we have well north of, we've north of $20 million in crypto. So we've got a really strong balance sheet. Revenues, we've publicly put out, we think we'll do $1 million in revenue for this year. So, I think the business is the best it's ever been in the last 7 years. So I think we've got a team that's pretty excited. We're building some, compelling solutions for the marketplace.
Yeah.
Revenue's going, strong balance sheet. So I don't know what else to say, but it's,
That sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, it's some people have trouble accessing our stock.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's kind of one of the downsides, but we're pretty excited for the future. So that's, in a nutshell where we are.
I like it. And you said you're in the process of trying to get in the NASDAQ. It's really just like a toss up, or like
it's like getting in the country club,
yeah.
Right? Like or getting into college, right? It's probably probably harder than either, I would say, right? Like you file an application, and then they come back and ask you a bunch of questions, and you respond to their questions, and they come back and ask you another set of questions. You respond to those, and you do that till they have no more questions. And there's three things that could happen. They could say, okay, you've answered all our questions. When you hit all the requirements, we'll uplist you. They could say, we like you, but we'd like to see your business develop longer before we'll consider listing you. Or the third thing is they just be like, we don't think you're appropriate for our exchange, which I think is probably unlikely at this point. The companies in the cannabis space had a lot of, they really can't get listed, right? Because it's, as an example, it's still illegal on the federal level, right? Despite what states may do. That's kind of how crypto companies were looked at in 2014. We actually talked to NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange, and they said, we're not really feeling this. It's for drug dealers, and this isn't really something we want to be involved in. Now Coinbase is on the NASDAQ. There's a lot of companies. There's Marathon. Riot. I forget, what was it? Was it Bitfarms? It just I think dual listed, or one of the dual listed. I forget which ones, but it's definitely our business model is not something that's on a blacklist anymore, right? Crypto is not it's accepted. It's mainstream. Not as mainstream as I think it can be, but it's definitely
it's definitely getting there. Amazon, I think, just came out with accepting Bitcoin or in the future or something.
They're looking at it. I think my understanding is they posted a job for like a lead crypto person. So I think people are interpreting that as they're going to we'll see. That'd be pretty big, right?
It would.
It'd be huge.
It made Bitcoin run like crazy already.
Yep. Yeah. No. I mean, look, it's been things were down for a while.
Yeah.
As was our stock. I mean, I watched our stock go from like 70 cents down to like 30. It's now back up. I mean, it's still not the levels we were in the beginning of the year, but and crypto's come down a lot as well, and it's started to come back. So
that is true.
There's a lot of volatility in the space.
Yeah, very true. But but there's anything else you wanted to highlight? It was great hearing about BTCS, and hopefully everybody watching could take something away from this. And
all right, cool. Yeah, no, I think that sums it up. Unless you have any other questions, I really appreciate you having me on your channel. Hopefully this is helpful for your subscribers. Hopefully they have an interest.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
let me know if there's any additional questions. Always happy to share share what we're working on.
Definitely, because a lot of people don't understand blockchain technology. I think this put like an insight on it. So
all right, perfect.
All right, thank you so much, Charles.
All right, Tito, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
All right, no problem. See you.
All right, take care.